So as of last night, 200 inmates from our jail system have been released. That action last night allowed us to hit a major milestone. And none of us expected this crisis, but one thing that has come out of it is that our jail population continues to decline.
So that's New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio touting the release of hundreds of prisoners as part of an effort to combat the spread of the virus. This is a trend that's happening in cities and counties all over the country. In New Jersey, hundreds of low-impact, quote, low-impact nonviolent offenders have been released in order to prevent the spread of this disease. Shaun Golden is the sheriff of Monmouth County, and he joins me now. Sheriff, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, called this a groundbreaking program. Do you consider this a groundbreaking program?
Well, listen, if you consider it groundbreaking when we're releasing inmates that have records of assaulting officers and resisting arrest and some sex offenses, failure to register for sex offender type offenses, then I guess you could call it groundbreaking. Listen, we across the state of New Jersey received a letter from the ACLU on the 20th. Certainly went to an order to show cause immediately in the courts. It was fast-tracked over the weekend. By the 23rd, we had to have a list of offenders, quote-unquote, low-impact, nonviolent offenders, to be released out into the communities. And when you looked at that list, here in Monmouth County, it was 6,400 in the state of New Jersey, as you know, almost 900. And you looked at that list, and it had some of those offenses on it. And that's why, I thought it was absurd to release inmates that are still fulfilling a sentence of where law enforcement were injured in particular cases. One was an assault on a canine dog. The other was throwing fluids at a law enforcement officer for resisting arrest. Again, others failure to register as sex offenders. And I'm sure when we released them in a sarcastic way, they went out and registered, Martha. So, this is an exploitation of a policy that certainly, was pushed with an agenda and rapidly through the Supreme Court here in New Jersey.
All right. So right now, do these facilities have a COVID-19 outbreak problem?
Well, here's the thing. Our facility does not. We have no positive test cases. We do have 2 that are in quarantine and isolation in a different pod. We went into what we call the policy and procedures for communicable diseases weeks ago, not allow, like other jails did around the state of New Jersey, not allowing visitation in, going to video visitation and free phone calls for the inmates, having special visitation for their attorneys, checking them outside with temperatures and questions and assessment before we bring them inside. And then when we do bring them inside in the book and they end up in a separate pod in quarantine for 14 weeks. The thing here is none of the other local jails, the Wardens Association, the Sheriff's Association, none were consulted before this even went to the show cause order. Luckily, the prosecutors had a contest piece where they can contest some of these inmates being released out into our communities.
I mean, I think that's amazing. And, when you think about the fact that there's going to be a lot of pressure on communities with a lot of issues that are going on with this virus and also with the economy, it seems like a difficult time. And it sounds like in your facility, you had a pretty good system in place.
We have most of them do. And in one case, we had a release on Tuesday. He was arrested for shoplifting and theft on Wednesday. So this is what's happening here. It's certainly a drain on our public safety resource to worry about this during this crisis. And it's definitely an exploitation. So thank you to all our first responders and healthcare providers.
Yeah, good to have you with us. And thank you to all of our folks on the front lines there in New Jersey and elsewhere. And you're doing a great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.